Hey guys, so today I want to talk about eating disorder recovery and the refeeding process. This is a pretty important aspect of eating disorder recovery, and when we decide to recover, when we make that first leap into accepting help, one of the biggest obstacles is putting on mass and getting to a healthy weight. So I found that this really only works if you are ready to make it work. And if we're not ready, if our mind isn't prepared to take that jump, then it's not likely going to work. We we're likely to relapse, or we're likely to repeat that cycle until we hit a rock bottom. Now I know that some of you are at different places in recovery. Some of you may have entered treatment. Some of you may not think it's something you need treatment for. Some of you may not think of this as a big issue in your life. But regardless of where you're at, I'm going to talk to you about 3 obstacles that you may have to recovery. And hopefully, if these tips help you out, let me know, like and comment for the algorithm, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so a pretty big cause of eating disorders is the control that comes with it, and this can make it especially hard to recover and gain weight. So when we experience times in our lives where we do not feel in control, we can turn to things like food in order to cope with that. So maybe you've had parents or family that are pushing unrealistic expectations onto you. Maybe you had a traumatic event happen to you where you felt helpless at the time, and maybe you've been getting repetitive messages about beauty standards, about how a man or woman should look like. Um, the main premise is that we see something that is pushed onto us externally, and it's something that we can't control. So we fixate on things that we can control, like food, in order to feel safe. And the key to recovery is becoming aware of that control, choosing to let it go and be free, and trusting the process and believing that you will be okay. It's obviously easier said than done, but it can be done if you believe in it, and I'm living proof of that. All right, so a second obstacle to recovery is going to be body dysmorphia. And this is something that pretty much everyone with eating disorders deals with. Even people without eating disorders deal with this as well. And it can seriously distort your perception of your own body. And as an example, I'm going to show you guys some pictures of myself just kind of throughout the years. So, this first picture of me was, I think, back in middle school. I was always kind of small, small, lean, short, generally pretty athletic. Never really thought about my body much at this time. And so we fast forward to 2014, and this was back in my senior year of high school. This was about 3 years after I started weightlifting and like a couple months after I started taking it seriously. So I was never really like big growing up. I was always, again, on the slimmer or smaller side, sort of muscular because I was active and played sports and baseball and all that stuff. In this photo, I was 130 pounds, and I never really felt that insecure about my body. I thought I looked good in this photo. Um, Up until this point, yeah, I was never really thought negatively about my body that much. But a few months after this photo was taken, that's sort of when my eating disorder symptoms started to kind of come to the surface. So now we fast forward to January of 2019, and this was like the worst probably point of my eating disorder. I got all the way down to I think 108 pounds, which was really bad. And the messed up thing is I still thought I was like fat, I guess. Um, I thought I still had to look thinner and thinner before I was satisfied with myself. But I mean, just look at the photo. I look like a skeleton, literally. Um, and I thought that's how I was supposed to look and feel um, all the time. I was malnourished all the time. I was exhausted. I couldn't think clearly. I was dehydrated all the time. And I thought that's how I was supposed to feel, really. So fast forward to a few months after that, um, later in the year in 2019, I started, refeeding myself and recovery on my own. And by the time November rolled around of that year, I was sitting around 145 pounds, which was the most I've ever weighed in my life. And choosing to let that go was not easy at all. It really wasn't. It was a very difficult process. It was one of the hardest decisions I've had to make in my life. But all it takes is one step. It takes a single step. That's all it takes to build momentum and enter recovery. And the interesting thing is that your body dysmorphia will change as you gain weight and as your mind becomes clearer and as your body falls in love with you again because you're not constantly abusing it. It's amazing how much your perspective of yourself and your body changes based on how you're giving your body what it needs. And so that last photo was from 2019 still. And this one is a recent photo of me. I'm sitting at around 140 pounds. I'm super strong. I'm amazed at what my body has accomplished through bodybuilding, essentially. I had a toxic relationship with that for a while, but it really saved me in a way. And, I might have my days where I might feel a little insecure about my body. I might not like how my stomach looks or how my face looks in the mirror or whatever. But one, it happens way less than it used to. And two, it is uh, way less severe than it used to be. To the point where it's almost just a passing thought that I have during the day. So just remember that if you're looking at your body and you don't like what you see, uh, how you see yourself isn't necessarily how you objectively look to other people. Just because you feel big or feel fat or whatever, it doesn't mean that you are. Your thoughts create your reality, and you can change your thoughts to create a different reality for yourself if you really put your mind to it. All right, and so a third obstacle I have for you guys to eating disorder recovery is going to be embarrassment, the shame, the guilt, the fear, and the other negative emotions that you're going to have when you go through this process of weight gain. These are absolutely things that are common and normal for you to feel at this stage. The shame of waiting so long to get help, the fear of the unknown, the fear of gaining weight, and the distorted perceptions that come with that, the guilt of how your disorder has affected the people around you. These feelings are all part of a healing process, and they're all completely valid and okay to feel. People might judge you, people might think differently about you, they might treat you differently, but none of that really matters, and none of that should stop you from becoming the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. All right, and those were 3 obstacles that are going to be roadblocks in your recovery, and I think that with the right mindset and the right support that you're gonna get through this. And it's just to let you know that there is hope on the other side. I'm a living example of how you can beat this. So if you made it to the end, thank you for watching. Again, like, subscribe, comment, whatever. My Discord link's in the description, and I'll see you guys later.